Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Dr. Imran Sarwar. Today's topic is typhoid fever. Let's start with a clinical scenario. A 7-year-old male child presented to you with history of fever and cough for the last 10 days, abdominal pain, 5 days on examination, a sick looking child, liver is 3 cm palpable below the costal margin. His lab investigations shows hemoglobin 9 gram percent, TLC is 3500 per cubic millimeter, platelet counts are 90,000 per cubic millimeter. In this scenario you can see fever with hepatomegaly, leukocytes count is low, and there is thrombocytopenia. This is a typical scenario of enteric fever, and you will be asked the diagnosis, investigation and management in this type of written question. Typhoid fever is a severe multisystemic illness characterized by fever, sustained bacterial invasion and multiplication within the mononuclear phagocytic system, liver, spleen, lymph node and Peyer's patches. Typhoid is a disease of only humans. It is potentially life-threatening if it is not treated properly. Typhoid is most prevalent in the developing countries like Pakistan. Typhoid has a worldwide distribution, but it is more common in developing countries where the sanitary conditions are poor. It is more common in children from 1 year to 5 years of age in the endemic area, and the typhoid is less common in the infantile age or below 1 year of age because of the transfer of the immunity from mother that starts waning after 1 year of age, that results in increasing the incidence of typhoid fever beyond infantile age. The causative agents are the Salmonella typhi and paratyphi. Salmonella typhi is a gram-negative bacteria belong to Enterobacteriaceae family. Salmonella are grouped based on the somatic O and further divided into serotypes based on the flagellar H, a gram-negative and surface VI virulent antigen. It is transmitted by the contaminated food and beverages handled by persons who are having infection with Salmonella typhi. The disease susceptibility is increased with increase in the inoculum size. If large inocula of bacteria is ingested, there are more chances of having disease. The other factors are the acidic pH of the stomach. If the patient is on NSAIDs that predispose to have to promote the disease, if the patient is having gastrectomy or achlorhydria due to aging, these factors result in increased susceptibility to the infection. After passing the stomach, these bacteria they invade and multiply within the mononuclear phagocytic system in the Peyer's patches, liver, spleen, and lymph nodes in the distal ileum. From the Peyer's patches, these organisms are internalized and they reach the blood from the lymph fluid and resulting in primary transient bacteremia. From this primary transient bacteremia, again the organisms they seed the reticuloendothelial tissues of liver, spleen, bone marrow, gallbladder, and again they invade the Peyer's patches in the distal ileum. The Peyer's patches become hyperplastic with infiltration of the chronically inflamed cells, which may lead to necrosis of the superficial layer and ulcer formation, with potential hemorrhage from blood vessel erosion or peritonitis from the transluminal perforation. The incubation period of typhoid fever is 10 to 20 days. The patient will be asymptomatic in incubation period. Fever is dull with the development of bacteremia, and the pattern of the fever is usually seen is the step ladder pattern, and it is not commonly seen in pediatric population. The common symptoms are fever, anorexia, generalized body weakness, malaise, abdominal pain, diarrhea. There may be constipation and there may be mild cough. Patient may be drowsy or there may be delirium. Relative bradycardia should be in your mind. Rose spots that appear on abdomen, they are seen in second weakness of illness. In the second week of illness, the patient will become toxic and there will be abdominal distension with splenomegaly. In third week of illness, the patient will become even more toxic. There will be weight loss. The patient will be stuporous or delirious. There will be tachycardia, and the patient may die of the disease due to the toxemia, myocarditis, intestinal hemorrhage, or perforation. In the fourth week of the disease, the CNS signs they may slowly improve, but the intestinal disease will continue. The intestinal complications include intestinal hemorrhage, perforation. Hepatobiliary complications are elevated aminotransferases, mild jaundice, hepatitis with hepatomegaly, pancreatitis. There may be acute renal failure. The cardiac complications are toxic myocarditis, pericarditis, non-specific EEG changes. The neuropsychiatric complications are toxic confusional state characterized by disorientation, obtundation, delirium and restlessness, facial twitching, or there may be convulsion, encephalomyelitis or encephalopathy may be present in patients with enteric fever, multiple brain abscess. Hematological complications are disseminated intravascular coagulation, hemolytic uremic syndrome, there may be hemolytic anemia. The lab investigation include the routine investigation and specific investigation. The routine investigation includes CBC, there will be anemia, ESR may be raised, there may be thrombocytopenia and lymphopenia, or there may also be leukopenia. There may be increased PT or APDT. Aminotransferases they may be raised, and in serum electrolyte there may be hyponatremia and hypokalemia. The specific investigation of enteric fever, they are related to the salmonella antibody or detection of antigen or detection of DNA. The gold standard test for the diagnosis of enteric fever is the isolation of the organism from blood or from the bone marrow. So the culture and sensitivity of bone marrow or blood is the gold standard. The yield of bone marrow examination is 90%. Isolation of the Salmonella typhi is possible even after the administration of the antibiotic. If the bone marrow examination is not performed, the pathogen can be isolated from other body secretions like stool or cerebrospinal fluid, or even it can be isolated from the blood. Although the yield of the microorganism isolation is less than the bone marrow examination. Vidal test measures the agglutinating antibodies against flagellar H or somatic O antigen of the Salmonella typhi. The sensitivity and specificity of Vidal test is low and even more low in children. So Vidal reaction is indicative of typhoid in only 40 to 60% of the patient at the time of admission. Indirect heme agglutination, indirect fluorescent VI antibody, and indirect enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays are helpful for the detection of immunoglobulin N and immunoglobulin G for Salmonella typhi. PCR detection is not commercially available for the detection of the enteric fever or Salmonella typhi. Antibiotic treatment should be started empirically even before the arrival of the report of the culture. Because of the efficacy and the low relapse and carrier rates associated with the fluoroquinolone and the third generation cephalosporin are antibiotic of choice to treat MDR typhoid fever. Because of its low cost, chloramphenicol is still used in other areas where local strains are sensitive. Furazolidones and azithromycin, these drugs are used for the treatment of typhoid fever in children. Surgical treatment may be required if there is intestinal perforation, or cholecystectomy may be done to eradicate the organism from the carrier state. In endemic countries, the most cost-effective strategy for reducing the incidence of typhoid fever is the institution of public health measures to ensure safe drinking water and sanitary disposal of excreta. Hand washing should be promoted among healthcare professionals and general public. Immunization with typhoid vaccine at regular interval also considerably reduce the incidence of infection. Although the efficacy of the vaccine available is questionable, but it should be recommended. Thank you very much.